What's up, boys? Callsign Grimey here, and welcome to another Broken Arrow video. And yes, the demo is back up to play for free on Steam. Now, this new demo period is going to last until March 20th. But what we're going to do in today's video is actually break down and go through a lot of the units that we're going to have at our disposal. And now, this is not the full and complete, but I think this is just what they have loaded in for the demo. So let's take a look at it, and more importantly, understand how this impacts your gameplay. So we're going to start here at the top. As you can see, there's two primary countries involved in this game: USA and Mother Russia. Now you can choose between whatever country. So we'll just start here with the USA. You'll click on USA and it'll give you all the USA units. You click on Russia and you will get all of the Russian units as well. Once you decide on what you're going to do, in this case, we'll start with the USA. Underneath it, there's four little sub icons. When you click the flag, it's going to give you every unit within the USA banner. Underneath it, though, you can specifically choose which units you want to look at. So you've got the Marine Corps units. You click that and it'll give you only the Marine Corps. That's kind of how that operates. So if you want to kind of find something a little bit quicker, you can do it that way. What we're going to do is start and look at just under the ground units, just all ground right now. You can see here, there's a lot of different options, right? We've got armored vehicles, we've got troops like Force Recon. So let me kind of walk you through how this works, because when the game fully releases, you're going to be able to choose and stack up your decks and outfit, more importantly, your aircraft. When you get into this, all of your aircraft are going to be like the base unit, the basic unit, right? So for instance, here, we'll just go to Marines and we'll go to ground, and you'll see Force Recon. Now, Force Recon, it's just a standalone unit, so the cost of it is 40 points. That's it. However, if you go to another unit, for instance, let's go to the, I believe this is a Javelin. When you come in here, you can see that the base price is 30 points. And if you come down and you look at the weapon package, okay? If we look at the weapon package, we'll click on that. Within here, now we can decide on what kind of armament we want on the vehicle itself, if we want anything other than the base kind of loadout. So here, let's say it starts off at the M2 Browning. All right, we can change that to the grenade launcher. We can go to the Mark 230. We can go to the Mark 230 with the Javelin. As you go up and increasing kind of like that loadout, you can notice that the price went up. What started off as a 30 unit purchase points, when you load it out with the high-end armament, it's now 80 points. Now this is important to take note of, because if you come in here and you just deck out every one of your units, right? We go in here, let's get the Harrier. All right, we're gonna put on, Snake Eyes. We're gonna put on 4 Mark 82s, 500 pounders. We're gonna put on some more CBU Rock Eyes. That cost of that aircraft just went up to 275 points, right? Versus it just being, the stock loadout, which is far less. So you have to think about this in terms of how you're going to structure your buys so that you aren't going to go broke on the battlefield. The worst thing you can do is set up all of your aircraft, all of your units to have all the fancy loadouts, and their cost is exorbitant, because if you are having a tough time getting into enemy units and destroying them, you're not going to really get points. And that's going to be a surefire way to end your mission very, very quickly. So it's going to take a amount of strategy to think about what units you're going to use, how you're going to use them, and in that regard, what do you want to load them out with so that you can get the best bang for your buck? So think about this very strategically here. We can continue on and look at like the Tomcat. Really, really cool here. You could play around with this as well and go into the loadouts and see what they give you access to. I think a lot of the aircraft here have a lot of the same armament options, like your Phoenixes, your Sparrows, your AIMs, your Snake Eyes, JDAMs, for instance, and all that stuff. But again, as you kind of go up in the, and if you go up into what you're wanting to use, like 1,000 pounder, we've already raised the price up to 240. It's pretty expensive, pretty expensive versus taking something else like the Sparrows. That's 170. So you can see how this will add up very, very quickly. Same thing for like your tanks. We'll go to M60 right here. Oh, we'll go to the M1A1 Abrams. All right, so here's the stock Abrams. It's 300 points. It's already an expensive unit. Now, if we go to the armor package, the baseline armor, it's just stock value, right? Now, if you upgrade it, now you've went up to 325. So as you can see, everything you do is going to have a cost, a point cost associated with it. And you're going to have to, again, think about how you're going to strategically load these units out so that you can afford them, especially if you're taking a lot of casualties, a lot of damage, and you need more units and reinforcements. You got to really think things through. That being said, let's continue looking through what we have in the arsenal, at least currently shown in the demo. We've got scout snipers. One thing I want to say about the scout snipers is, in my many playthroughs in the demo so far, I don't find the scout snipers useful as they are right now. The sniper itself is not going to take out any kind of armored targets, and there's very few instances where you run into enemy ground troops. Most of the time I have run into them is only after one of my other units destroyed their vehicle, and then they pop out into the ground. So what I think can be done for the scout snipers here to make them more valuable as a unit to deploy on the field is to lean heavy onto the scouting aspect. So if I take these two units out, scout sniper team, and I deploy them forward in the building or somewhere in the tree line up ahead of my regular troops, they should give me more vision. That fog of war should be lifted in a certain radius within where they're at, so that it focuses on the scouting. I think that would be tremendous value for the units, and it would go a long way into making me want to deploy them. So devs, can we do that, please? Thank you. All right, infantry. Got our Marine Raiders. Love these guys. 80 points for them. Can't currently use them in the demo, but would love to. Don't underestimate this team. They can do some damage as well. Vehicle wise, we've got LAV. This is a rocket launcher one as well. Very, very powerful and good. You can also upgrade this as well. I mean, the stock price of it is 85. If you want to deck it out with advanced armor and modernize the weapon system, you know, you're looking at 95 right there off the bat. And we also have the M1A1, a variation of it here, the FEP. And then we've got the M60 tank as well. For support, all right, you've got the LAV air defense, super, super valuable when you are experiencing or are expected to have enemy air helicopters and all that in the vicinity. These guys will shoot them down rather quickly, and they're not cheap. They're not super expensive, somewhere in the middle, but if you can, definitely like having these guys around. The mortar, very, very valuable. Find them very useful for supporting your troops with smoke, and then firing indiscriminate fire at points with the mortar rounds itself. So don't count that one out. Very, very useful. You've got your supply truck. Don't forget, you need to resupply the troops. So when you do resupply, it's going to rearm and heal up units as well when you deploy your supply truck. So utilize that. And then we have our Super Cobra here. And of course, you can outfit it with different loadouts. You can put hydro rockets on it, and the outer pylons, you could put, for instance, your Hellfires on there, which I think are good to go. And already your cost is at about 230 for that. All right. I didn't know you could put 2 AIM-9s on there, but that's different. But definitely those Hellfires are what you want. It's just so deadly in this game for air to ground out of your helicopters. Then we have the Sea Stallion here. I love this aircraft. Used to be on the airfield when I was in the service, and just so many memories with it. But yeah, it's great for obviously transporting, whether it's troops or vehicles. This thing will get the job done. We've got the Nighthawk as well. Osprey, of course, is a Marine Corps unit, and it's good for transporting troops. And it does have a gun you can pull into it, which they will fire off. So if we go in here, load the minigun, and then the minigun is right there in the tail. So you have somewhat of a defense mechanism, or you got the one underneath as well in the belly. So you can do a little bit of firing on some ground troops, but I don't really rely on the Osprey as a main air-to-ground system. It's just more for slinging troops around. Funny enough, we got the Venom here, but I really don't see how this will be used. I mean, I wouldn't want to choose this over a Viper or a Super Cobra. Even though you can say you can put a door gun on there, you can upgrade the door gun, you can put the pylons on and put some Hydra rockets. I suppose you could do a little bit of damage, but you can't really carry a lot of troops. I think there's just going to be better options for firepower than this one. This one seems to be a little bit of a hybrid. It'll carry probably 5 or 6 troops, and then, you know, you've got some firepower on it. But I would rather just take a Osprey or Super Stallion to transport more troops, or if I need firepower, just get the Super Cobra or the Viper and do it that way. When it comes to air, we've got the Harrier 2 Plus. We've got the Night Attack version, which is the OG version here. So the big difference between the two is that in the Harrier 2 Plus, it's actually set up so that you can carry AMRAAMs. That's a big difference. It's not something that you can do with the other version. So the 2 Plus seems to be an upgrade where it allows you to carry AMRAAMs. So good for air to air. As you outfit these aircraft with these advanced weapon systems, I mean, look at the cost of this thing, 440 just with a couple of AMRAAMs and some JDAMs on board. It's pretty expensive. You got the F-18E, and we also have the F-18F variant as well. And I think a lot of the difference in this game is going to be in the weapon systems here, so you can go through and toy around with that. Starting cost for the E is 360, and let's kind of go through it. If we want to add some armament here, we can add a Sidewinder. It's already 380. We add some Sparrows, we're at 400. If we add 2 AMRAAMs, we're at 420. That's just for that one pylon. If we go in the middle pylon, we'll add some more AMRAAMs. All right, we're at 460. If we go to the inner pylon, we got more AMRAAMs. We're at a lot of AMRAAMs at 560. And then the fuselage, there we go, 580 if you want to go straight air to air out of the F-18 with all AMRAAMs. It's not cheap. And after playing the air to air aspect of the game, I'm finding a little bit of trouble trying to understand it and to get the aircraft to do what I want, because they seem to just fly around in their own way. And so it's a little, it's something there to be fixed or desired, I guess. And we'll see what happens as the game develops. It's still early on right now. You got the Tomcat, iconic aircraft, of course. Out the gate, this is 170, but there's nothing really loaded, or at least that's the stock load. If we go in here and we start tricking it out, let's say we want some 4 Mark 84 bombs. Let's say, oops, let's go to wing pylons. We'll put some AIM 54 Phoenixes, and for the fuel, put 2 fuel tanks. We're looking at 310. It's a lot cheaper than the F-18, to be honest with you. Let's double check this as well. If we put 4 GBU 56 underneath, we're looking at 370. So it looks like at most you're still under 400 for the unit. F-35. Now, obviously, this is the current gen stealth aircraft, and all of the services have a F-35 with some variants of it. Let's take a look. Right out the gate, it's going to cost you 370, and then let's start adding stuff to it. The most expensive loadout in here is going to be your JSOW glide bomb. Now, these are all internally stored, so we really can't see it. We will go Star Bay and we'll do another JSOW, and when it's all said and done, it's only going to cost you 390. Surprisingly cheap. It's kind of curious why the F-18 costs more for all that. We've got the F-35 Charlie. This is the version, if I'm correct, that the Marine Corps uses, that allows you to vertical takeoff and land, replace the Harrier. Same deal. Let's see what we got in here. The most expensive is going to be like the 4 GBU 53s. And then in the starboard bay, we'll just add in some glide bombs. So 390 for the latest gen. Seems like the most expensive aircraft is going to be that F-18 with its loadout. All right, let's take a look at some of the Russian units that are going to be part of the game here. We can't currently play with them. However, they do have them in the arsenal, so we can at least take a look at what we got here. As far as some ground troops, we got the Dasantaniki. I am going to completely butcher these names, so I do apologize. But essentially a ground platoon of troops. VDV which is going to be, looks like there's a RPG unit within it, RPKs. So those can put some damage down. VDVs, it's going to be your air defense. So we got one of those. Cool. We'll take a look at some of the vehicles here. You've got the BTR, an iconic tank in the Russian forces here. So this thing will shoot down air-to-air or air targets on the ground. This is really cool. You can take a look at the weapon package here. Its base unit is 90 points. But then, like, if we want to add the most expensive thing to it, ZU-23, there we go. And that thing will modify, and that is the BTR. You've got the Sprut. It's gonna be one of their tanks. Not familiar with it myself. And then we do have this modernization button on the bottom, so we can go the Sprut SDM, and it gives us a different look. 170 points for it. A little bit more advanced for sure. Looks like there's some sensors on the top right there, so probably gonna be pretty accurate and deadly. For support, Russian forces are gonna have the 2S41 Druk. Not quite sure what this thing does. I think it looks like this might be a mortar unit, perhaps. Just looking here, it's got 82 millimeter HE high explosive rounds. 82 mil. Yeah, this is, so essentially this is their mortar version out of a Humvee. Then we have the 9K51 Grad. And you can see here, looks like there's a lot of ammunition for it to dispense. So this is gonna be pretty powerful. I'm not quite sure what this does other than shoot maybe rockets. Not sure if it's air to ground or if it's meant for ground to air, but yeah, that's what that is. Here we have the 9K58 Kama. Again, I'm not very familiar with the Russian forces here. And so, yeah. All right, then just a standard troop transport, I believe. Let's take a look here at the helicopters. You've got the legendary KA-50 Black Shark. You can see that right here. This unit is going to cost 80 out of the gate, and if we add, let's see, if we add stuff to it, it's about 130. If you add the Vickers rockets or the missiles on there, and then you've got the rockets on board. It's gonna be pretty cool. I know a lot of people in DCS love that aircraft, so it is gonna be in this game. You got the K-52. I'm guessing here that this is a upgraded version, perhaps. Again, this cost base unit is 80. It looks like there's more pylons on this one, so it definitely looks like an upgrade compared to the K-50. You can add S-13 rockets. We can add Vickers, and even on the outer pylon, we can add some anti-air missiles. So this thing's like locked and loaded, and this is gonna run you about 190 points when you fully deck it out. Got the Mi-26. I can't even zoom out. This thing's so big. Oh, there we go. Looks like basically their version of the CH-53. Big transport, troop transport. Probably can sling, ground units and vehicles and stuff like that. Really, really big. We've got the Mi-28. Another legendary aircraft here. Let's take a look at what we can do. Base unit is going to cost 70 points. You go into the inner pylon, we add the rockets, we add, what's the most expensive thing they got here? You can add Igla S anti-air missiles. Either way, it's going to end up costing you 180 capped off. Then we've got the Mi-8 MTV. I'm familiar with this aircraft. I've seen it in DCS quite a bit. And again, something of a troop transport. Primarily, you do have some level of weapons in here. You can put rocket pods on it, autocannon, rocket pods, some more stuff on here. So you can outfit it with some stuff. So it allows you to transport troops while still having a level of air to ground element on it. And for relatively inexpensive compared to some of the other aircraft. I mean, it's only 90 points. So there's that. And then we'll look at the air. We have the Su-34 iconic aircraft here. This is going to cost 460 out of the gate. And this seems to be with the pre-configured loadout. So it's not cheap whatsoever. We'll take a look at the pylons here. You can have a electric countermeasure pod. We can do 2 R-73s, which are pretty deadly. Go 4 of them in there. The most expensive loadout here is going to be 2 R-73s and 2 R-77s. There's that configuration. Middle pylon here. We'll just kind of look and see where we cap it all out. 2 KAB 500s. I believe those are air to ground bombs. And the inner pylons, we can add 2 KH-59 Mark IIs. So these are some kind of missile perhaps. And when you add all of the high-end items to this aircraft, you're looking at 880 points. Oh my, that's actually sick. That's a lot of points to spend on an aircraft. You better hope that it lands all of those payload on targets. Otherwise, it's a big risk versus reward purchase for sure. So far, this is the most expensive aircraft, fully decked out, that we've looked through in Broken Arrow. Su-35. Let's take a look here. Base cost of 215. Let's go ahead and mess around with it, see what we can do. Let's stretch it all out. Looks like 200 points for some rockets. Inner pylons, the most expensive setup here is going to be more rockets, air to air. And then your fuselage, we can have 6 R-77s. When this is all said and done, it comes out to 830. So still less than the Su-34. Finally, the Su-57 aircraft, again, all legendary Russian aircraft here. This is going to cost 590 out of the gate with its pre-configured loadout. Then if we go through and we just add the most expensive stuff, the rear bay, and it's 750. So still cheaper than the it's actually the cheapest of the 3 Russian aircraft, and the Su-34 the most expensive at 880. All right, boys, so that is a look at the arsenal that is in Broken Arrow as of the demo period, and this is not going to be a finalized listing. They're going to add stuff. There's still stuff that they've said that they need to add upon full release, but it's good to see what we have available. Most of the American units you can use in the current demo. Obviously you cannot play as the Russian side right now, so it's cool to still be able to see what they're gonna have initially and then how they're gonna build on that at full release and then over time. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video of the arsenal in Broken Arrow. Let me know by throwing a thumbs up on the video and subscribing to the channel. Definitely appreciate it. And with that being said, Callsign Grimey out.